Marsh Cup.
Yeah, no,
Shield cricket,
domestic
come on.
cricket. Here we are, back at home in Australia.
Before the Shield, our domestic one-day competition kicked off. They have been doing this sort of weird format where they try to smoke out as many games as they can quite quickly. Obviously, the rise of 2020 cricket.
I think as well with this, Victoria, they got permission to come up from Victoria to come into New South Wales because of the lockdown in Melbourne. So probably part of that was like, hey, if you're coming up, we've got to play everything at once.
Mac, and you probably remember back in the day, the ING Cup or Mercantile Mutual Cup or whichever sponsorship had it. The one-day domestic competition was fire.
Yeah.
You used to watch it. It was televised free to air
Absolutely.
TV,
It was
maybe on a Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Or run home from school and flick it on, and catch it.
Yeah.
They had the ING sign, hit the sign. They'd win
That's
$100 grand. That's when your Brad Hodge, Andrew Simons made their names. And again, and we'll go into it throughout the season about Shield players and making your name really force your way into the Aussie team. There just doesn't seem to be enough of that. Maybe because eyes aren't on the domestic level, but that's all we've got now for the next couple of months. So let's focus on one-day cricket. Let's focus on Shield cricket.
It's also great because the Australian team can't go anywhere, so all the Australian, the big names are playing. In
exactly
these games.
right. So you're facing world-class bowling. You're bowling the world-class batting.
It's excellent cricket too.
It's absolutely, And this game had a bit of it all, flattened out a bit at the end. But Peps, run us through North Sydney Oval.
It's a great segue, the fact that you guys mentioned that anyone could be playing in these games. Enter into the New South Wales lineup: Steve Smith, Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyon. If you don't mind,
Who captain New South Wales, by the way?
It's Neville. It's Peter Neville.
Is it still Neville, or did they
Neville?
give it to?
Well, I don't think it's Steve's. I don't think.
No, well, I thought there was chat beforehand they were going to give it to Cummins. I just was wondering if they'd actually done that.
That is a excellent shout, and Cummins may have done that.
We'll let Monkey figure that out.
Look up who was the captain in this one. So New South Wales, the Blues, they started 2 for 6 after the first 2 overs. We're looking like they're in all kinds of curry. Enter a bloke called Steve Smith. He makes 127. They finish up 9 for 3, 18 of their 50. A little cameo from Ollie Davies, 57 of 41. And Pat Cummins, that man, is pretty good with the bat as well as the ball. He had 49 of 30. Victoria go out and they lose this pretty comfortably. They get scheduled for 259. Matt Short, no relation to Darcy, 67 in this. And James Pattinson, he can strike the ball quite well. He had 54 of 36. That man, Pat Cummins, 3 for 38 of his 9. I think the other bowlers chipped in with a few wickets. Be very interesting to follow this competition as it matures.
Who was captain, Jimmy?
Yeah, so it was Pat Cummins.
Yeah, so Cummins.
Okay.
Cool. So I think that's the start of the.
Is this grooming?
Yeah, this is definitely grooming.
Well, I think Neville's named captain for the next one. Might see if they update that.
True.
So the Australian Cricket Board is like a middle-aged man and Pat Cummins is like a 16-year-old girl and they're just getting in there.
It's just a bit of grooming going on for young Patrick.
That may be edited out post-show. Match 12 of the Sheffield Shield. The Sheffield Shield obviously resuming after a 3-month hiatus, obviously since
November, I think,
before the Big Bash.
Yeah.
An absolutely stacked New South Wales side again.
I like that it's paired with the one day. That was the old school thing as well. You'd go to Queensland, you play one day,
and you play a Shield game.
So it's
Cummins out of this side. I don't know if it was a resting type situation.
I'd imagine so. I saw Trent Copeland. That man will bowl till he's 70.
Hazelwood.
Yeah, they probably needed to see Starkey get some more overs, I'd say, in this.
Abbott. That was the fast bowlers.
Unreal bowling lineup.
Abbott's probably a bit unlucky. He's here playing for New South Wales instead of not playing T20
and we have mentioned that.
Yeah, we talked about that.
If anyone wants to get into the back catalogue on the Esky, they probably need a few views.
Yes.
New South Wales, despite this stellar side, they get absolutely skittled for 165. Shout out to young Mitch Perry. He had 3 for 25 of 17 overs.
Nice, neat outswingers. Really, really tightened them down. It was a very green deck on the SCG.
Could you imagine bowling 17 overs and going for 25? That's usually 2. That's 2 and I'm done. I'm good for 25.
Considering you pick off Steve Smith as one of them. So
I think, and Smudge was one of them.
Yeah, snicked him off. Yeah, that's 1.6 and over. 1.6 and over.
Smudge's extravagant leaves.
Yeah,
very extravagant.
They're getting more extravagant.
He's
but,
just added some spin moves to them. So
He's trying to one up Marnus. Marnus has been getting weird. It's going to be a leave off between the
Smudge
two.
is number one, I think.
It is just that boy's all over the spectrum. I can guarantee you that.
Big time spectrum. We love him, of course.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bendooley Estate, where Steve Smith got married. Another
There you go.
big wedding coming up on the weekend. We've plugged that a little bit.
Is that why you picked that one? Sarah let you have one choice. Steve Smith got married here. Done.
Yeah.
Let's pick this place.
maybe some talent or a buff eventually.
It might have one joke in our speech that I don't want to spoil. It's
We'll
not
save
funny,
it.
so
Tune in.
they never are that funny.
Tune in next week. We'll rip that one out.
Give
on the
it a
Esky.
review. Under over 2.5 out of 10 on the joke there. Victoria 200 even. Joseph, what happened? They were 2 for 150.
2 for about 151. I mean, New South Wales skittled for 160, and Madison and Harris came out. Harris played quite tidy, but Madison was taking a liking to Stark. Stark was very wayward, and we've seen a wayward Stark.
Yes.
Not so much the wides and stuff, but
Not
just
great
half
form for
volleys, wide outside off, and Madison just nice timing. They put on 94 for the first wicket. 2 for about 150. And then they
Enter
lost.
Nathan Lyon.
Nathan Lyon on that SCG pitch, which, I mean, we're looking for a couple extra bats in Australia, but to see Nathan Lyon, he absolutely ripped through him, 6 for 21 in the end.
And after a quiet summer, he'd be pretty happy.
Absolutely right. Victoria lose 8 for about 49 and absolutely capitulate. It was an absolute, capitulation, as I say. So Lyon rips through. New South Wales 1 for 22 as we speak overnight.
Finished the stumps on day 2.
Day two.
So again, we've still got 2 days of cricket, and we've
Should
lost.
get a result.
We've lost 21 wickets in 2 days. So 2 ways to sort of look at this game. Oh, great. We've got young Mitch Perry, Lyon getting some form. Batting stocks. The one actually highlight I did like from this was Enriquez. We've got 67 up there.
Yes.
My favourite
Another
number.
bloke that probably missed out on the T20.
Yeah,
as well,
my
so.
favourite number from Enriquez's innings, 170 deliveries faced.
Add up some rocks.
We are crying out for someone to do
They
that.
can eat 'em. Yep.
And especially, look, they made 160, so there's wickets falling around him. So he just got behind the ball, played it back to the bowler. Again, that's what we need in the test team. We talk about Pujara, we talk about Joe Root's longevity. That's what you just need to do. So Enriquez, we've said he's in the mix for that number 5 spot, possibly.
Yep.
I mean, test championship, fingers crossed.
Possibly.
We've got to see who could be there.
We didn't cover that, but yeah.
Yeah,
probably a positive.
1 all over there, I think, is a pretty good result.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
us. Yeah, we'll have a look at that maybe next week on the Esky.
But other than that, Madison looked aggressive at the top of the order. He came in at that weird time with Ferguson, and there was a big overhaul, and Madison probably came in a little bit too early.
Yeah.
So he might be one to watch. Curtis Patterson, who's very unlucky. I think he made 140 here in Canberra and then was dropped the next game. So he would have loved to stand up and score some runs. Maybe in the second knock he can put his hand up. Again, that's why we're so excited for the Shield cricket. There's all these names that can maybe let's strengthen this depth pool. So that game's very much in the balance, the way these bowlers are going with the quality of players in there. So, Victoria currently 20 runs ahead, not even. So, very poised.
Mitchell Stark, you mentioned before that he was a little bit expensive. Nick Maddinson was taking a liking to him. Finished up with none for 71 of his 14 overs here. That's just about 5 and over. Yep. Has he got any concerns, do you think?
I think big concerns. I think we sort of have talked about it the last couple of weeks. That, our question marks are number 5, obviously. I mean, opening the batting and whatever's happening there. And our third quick. We love Cummins, Hazelwood, very consistent. Lyon here.
Yep, you're not dropping any of those 3, I would have thought.
We were talking about Stark late in that India series. He was a liability more than an attacking weapon, which he is such a weapon when he's on. And it's that Mitchell Johnson. It's a left arm quick, and it's swinging and it's bouncing. But I mean,
but the problem is there's no one that kind of fits that aggressive mould ready to come in. Cause
Jimmy Patterson. Jimmy Patterson, I think.
Patterson's probably the main
exactly
one.
who I was going to think.
And again, do we need someone?
Different bowlers.
He fires
The
on.
other 2 I was thinking of is probably Jai Richardson, who's over with T20, and then Sean Abbott, of course, who's playing in this game. They're probably the other 2.
I think
Jai Richardson was in the team, did his shoulder, and got dropped out. But
and bowls wheels.
And moves it. So I think and it always is the case, if we've got one position, it's quick bowlers. So I think we really need to be like India, be like England, You're not bowling well, you're out. Joey
Yeah.
Richardson, you're in. You're not
Yep.
bowling well,
Yep.
you're out.
Yep.
You proved that you deserve to be in here. It's great. You've taken 200 odd wickets at Test level, and you've had some devastating spells.
Where's the loyalty back?
There's but I mean, look at Washington Sundar. Look at Washington Sundar.
Yes.
Where's his loyalty? And they win. What do we care about more than anything? Is winning. So,
Yeah, true.
I mean, again, and you tie yourself to favourites, and I've said a million times, we love scapegoats. Oh, Starkey's bowling like shit. Oh, get him out of there. Get him out of there. You know, people have bad games. It's when the bad outweighs the good.
It's when bad games become bad form. That's where
exactly right.
Well, he's out of sorts. He probably needs to play some more Shield cricket, get back into form before we bring him back in. So.
And you don't, if you're dropped, like, and it seems to be the way in Australia, if you're dropped, your career's not over.
Yeah.
Look what Mitch Johnson did. He got dropped. He was out for 2 years, came back and had one of the all-time
Well, look at the Australian captain.
Test series.
that Ashes
Exactly
series,
right.
yeah.
Tim Payne's come from nowhere. Michael Clark was dropped. Ricky Point, like,
We've
you
spoken
can
about it before.
get dropped, earn your spot, come back in.
Yeah. It's,
Or you get in, don't let that guy come back in.
there's not too many guys that have had a long Test career that never got dropped. So
Yeah. The other game?
Tasmania and
versus-
Queensland. Tassie bat first in this one. They make 332. Caleb Jewell, remember the name, 23-year-old Tasmanian, had 140. Brendan Doggett, the best of the Queensland bowlers, 4 for 88. In return,
Oh, the Peppy making 171.
Speaking of returns,
apparently the joke is I look like Joe Burns. I think with some longer hair and a little bit more stubble.
Couple of beers, yes.
And about 80 times more cricketing talent. Yes, I could be a Joe Burns.
80 times. Sheesh.
if
Get
you
stiff
would.
on Joe Burns.
Let's go the ton. Let's go 100 times more. 171 of Queensland's 275. That's I know we don't like quick math on this show, but it's like 55%, maybe 60%.
a bit more, yeah.
Bit more than
That's
that.
more actually.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
what's 173,
70.
40. Let's call that nearly 60. That's 2/3 of their runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2/3. Let's go with that.
That's good. I think,
Marnus had 49.
Yeah.
So outside of those two, they made 40 runs.
yeah,
Yes.
Xavier Bartlett batting late, hit 20 odd. He's one to watch, good swing bowler. But a lot of ducks, a lot of single figures for the Queenslanders. Joe Burns, such an anomaly. You know, it's one of those ones we've casted him aside. We talk about people making shield runs. 170 is a lot of shield runs.
He makes a lot of Shield runs. So the
Yeah.
problem is, does he start falling into the Sean Marsh category where he makes a lot of Shield runs, but then
Yeah,
can't-
I know.
can't-
Yeah, it's interesting.
can't, well, for Sean Marsh's problem, he can't bat in Australia. He bats right elsewhere.
And it's and the argument is, what is the Tasmanian bowling lineup? I challenge anyone here to name them, but no one else hit 170 runs. Marnus Labuschagne didn't hit 170, and yes, obviously
Usman Khawaja,
he had a bit of luck
Matt
along the way.
Renshaw, all in
Yeah.
that side.
So I mean,
Bo Webster.
yeah,
Well, yeah, but you guys know
it's on the board, but that's
he's not even.
yeah.
I don't think he's even a specialist spinner.
No.
He bats about 6 in the Big Bash.
He bats
Bo
6
Webster.
and bowls. Does he bowl seam up or?
I think he bowls
I think he
offies.
does.
Could we have a look at Bo Webster, please?
So,
Tasmania resume their number 7. This game, I guess you'd say, is pretty evenly poised.
It's still
Obviously,
pretty close,
Tassie have the
50.
lead by about 50 odd. 2 days remaining. Should get a result. There's going to be 2 games that you should see a result in.
Yeah, which is good. Again, two Tasmania and Queensland, no real names that we sort of talk about and are jumping off the page. Caleb Jewell, 23, lefty, batting 4. That's what we like to see. Other than that, it's Joe Burns, it's Marnus Labuschagne.
The
We know-
Queensland side's got a fair few, in terms of their bats.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's the joke. You know, it's all Victoria and New South Wales, but I mean, read out the 11s, and that's who we're talking about.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But we want to see these teams
Absolutely.
compete and
I want to hear
improve.
about Brendan Doggett bowling, see him up and get some good. Bring me back to those days.
So,
Webster?
So yeah, Webster's a right arm off spin.
Off you
There you go.